Welcome to Self-Represented in Family Court. Your host, Tracey Bee. That's me. So, here we discuss strategies. Yes, strategies and how to use them to get the results you want in family court. If you're self-represented, pro se, pro per, or if you have an attorney and you just need to know what it takes to get through this complex family court system we have, this is the place to be. We discuss strategy. We discuss tactics. We discuss tips and tricks. We discuss techniques. We discuss secrets. We discuss it all. Whatever it takes to get you the strategy that you need, that's it. That's here. That's what we do. So sit back, take notes, and kick ass. Hello there. It's me, Tracey Bee, and you're listening to Self-Represented in Family Court. I'm your host. I am the owner, founder, and creator of the Divorce Solutionist, the service actually created just to help you as pro se or self-represented or lawyer represented learn how to create and use strategy in your family court case to help you get more wins. Today, I wanted to talk to you about having a support system, taking a strategic look, view, discussion at why it is important from a strategic perspective to have a support system or several support systems, because there's different needs you're going to have as you proceed through family court. Your emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, all of those facets of you are going to be impacted by the family court experience. So you may need support from professionals, family, friends, community, online community, groups, religious affiliations and associations. The list goes on and on. And support can be verbal, emotional, spiritual, financial, any of those things, and a combination of them. But why is it important for you to have support no matter what? You know, and I know, family court is an enigma. Family court is a circus. Family court is overwhelming, destructive. Family court is toxic. So family court is overwhelmingly expensive. So you need support so that you can navigate all of that with some sort of focus, some sort of continuity, some sort of just some sort of attention, some sort of fairness, some sort of objectivity, some sort of peace, if that makes any sense. So having a support system, having support systems is incredibly important in more ways than one. So let's talk about the strategic perspective or the strategic point of view that I'm referring to. As you all know, I am a strategist. I am a strategist by nature. I am a critical thinker, inherent critical thinker. I am overly analytic. I am a problem solver, hence the name, the Divorce Solutionist. I am an out-of-the-box thinker. I am a manifester. I am all of those things, in addition to my professional roles. So for me, being strategic means a few things. It means taking a look at where you are, being honest with yourself about where you are, right? Where you are mentally, where you are physically, even where you are practically, where you're living. Those things are important for you to actually move forward or move from there to come up with a plan that's going to help you achieve your goals. So you need to assess where you are. And then you need to set a goal. You need to set family court goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. Will you accept custody, joint custody for now, because you know later on down the line when your situation changes or your circumstances change, you know you're going to be in a position to ask for sole or primary custody. That's what it means to set goals and set realistic goals based on several things: where you are, what resources you have, what the obstacles and the challenges that you're going to face along the way, all those things. So you set goals. Now that you've done that, you need to identify what the other party's goals are. Because that way, when you set your goals and you get an idea of what they want, what they're seeking to get, you can sort of assess and identify the chances of you getting exactly what you're looking for and the chances of the other party getting exactly what they're looking for, or anything in between. And then when you do that, you need to actually assess what outside external challenges are going to come up. That is which jurisdiction you're in. If you're in a jurisdiction that's pro mom or pro dad, or you're in a position where the jurisdiction you're in has judges that are not necessarily the fairest. They don't have a lot of insight about family law, things like that. Those are external challenges. Those are external threats because you really don't have any control over that. And then you need to see if you can find resources. What resources are available to help you deal with those challenges, to help you deal with any challenge that you might have from the other party, or to even help you improve your position. Things that you can use as leverage. That may be, limited scope attorney, that may be pro bono services in your area, resources in your area, that may be therapists, that may mean resources to move to a better living environment, whatever those resources are that you need to improve your situation or to increase your chances. That's what you need to do. And then you need to figure out what's the worst case scenario. What happens if this doesn't happen? What is my backup plan? What are the consequences? And how will I use those consequences? And then you come up with a plan. You take all of that information and you come up with a plan. And coming up with a plan means coming up with a solid plan for your case, incorporating all of that, the good, the bad, and everything in between, and figuring out a way to make that plan a reality. Actually coming up with the steps, the tactical steps to implement to make sure your overall plan becomes a reality. That's where a lot of you are messing up at. So at any stage, at any point of this journey that I just set out for you, you're going to need support. You cannot do family court alone. I cannot tell you the number of people who've come to me and said that they tried to get through the divorce process, or they did on their own, and when they look back and they made it through, alive, but when they reflect back, they were isolated or cut off, or they were, for whatever reasons, shame, guilt, whatever the reasons. And when they look back and they reflect back, they realize that because of that, they either shortchanged themselves, or they put themselves in a predicament or a situation that actually only made things worse, or they, those choices had some more negative effect on their children. They're having a hard time assimilating or adjusting to their new family structure, whatever the case is. And so it's incredibly important to take the time at the decision stage when you're deciding, or you think, or or you have a sense that family court is about to come up for you and the other party. It's important that you start to identify not just your resources, but the support that you can use along the way. Who can you call? Who can you email? Who can you text? Who can you ask a question of? Who can you cry to? Who can help you maintain some sort of stability? Who can give you that objective third-party insight? Who can help you find answers? Who can help you, whatever it is. And the sooner you do that, the sooner you start to identify those things, those support, those people, those resources, those contacts, the sooner you do that, the better off you are, because you're preparing in advance. You don't want to have to get midway in the thick of things and realize, yes, I do need someone to punch. No one's going to let you punch them, of course, but I do need someone that's going to let me scream and yell, because the more I bottle this up, all I do is lash out at the other party or even my children, or I get to court and I'm a basket case. And so the judge doesn't hear me. The judge thinks, I am in lack credibility. The judge doesn't care to award or rule in my favor because I just don't have it together. So the sooner you actually point out, identify the people, the channels, the opportunities for support, the better off you will be. Now, I am a really good researcher. I research everything. And so for me, if I were in the predicament of needing support, I'm always going to start with who I have in my circle. I will literally flip through my phone and let my mind be jogged by the people who are in my contacts that might have, I don't know, some sort of connection to getting me some financial assistance, to get a better apartment or to get a job or to get some job training. And then I'm going to go to my social media and I'm going to scroll through my friends and I'm going to see who their friends are. And then I'm going to go, and I always start with who I know. And then I might go and look at, previous employers and see if there's any coworkers that I forgot about, that I lost contact with, that may be of help. And then I'm going to go and maybe talk to my doctor or my therapist and see if they have any sort of support, additional support they can offer. And then I'm going to go to any government agency, any nonprofits in my area, and just, I do it online or do it in person, whatever it is. And I'm going to go and see if there's anything that they can offer as by the way of support, whether it be, again, practical, financial, mental, emotional, whatever it is, legal support, whatever it is. And then I'm going to go to into groups, Reddit groups, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, and I'm going to go and see, if there's any group members that might have. I use the search features all the time, and I put in exactly what I'm looking for, and I see what comes up, and I read comments, I read the posts, because there's a wealth of information in a lot of those things. Even if you posted a specific question and no one answered, if you actually do a search and you use keywords in the search feature, I know especially Facebook groups, there's a ton of good ideas or some sort of connections for support. And then I'm going to, the list goes on. I'm just going to keep looking, because anything I know I need some sort of insight, some sort of encouragement, wisdom, like I said, mental, emotional support, I'm going to look for that. I'm going to look for it beyond myself, because that's one huge aspect of being strategic, is knowing when you need to look outside of yourself for information, for accountability, for someone to help you to maintain emotional stability, some mental clarity. I am going to look outside myself to find some way, somehow. Apps are a good resource to go and find support. The list goes on. You can actually just start with Googling methods or means of support, divorce support in my area or online or on social media. You can, vary the actual phrase so that it fits exactly what you're looking for. But that is huge in being strategic, because judges don't want to see you emotionally overwrought with, whatever it is, anger, fear, shame, guilt. They're not going to entertain that. Some of them might, but they're not going to give you a pass, so to speak, because you just happen to be overwrought with emotion that specific day or one particular day, because the other party triggered these range of emotions in you. The other party may use the lack of emotional stability or mental clarity to find weaknesses or to use those vulnerable points to actually make a move that you're unaware of because you're so caught up in your emotions. Or they may use it to get you to overlook something important, or they may use it to trigger you so that they can, or bait you so that they can use that in court. And with your guardian ad litem, if you have a guardian ad litem involved, you don't want to be emotional with the guardian ad litem. You don't want to give the other party the opportunity to use your lack of emotional stability as an advantage with the guardian ad litem, because yeah, it happens. It happens a lot. With finances, you don't want to be overly optimistic or overly trusting of the other party that they're going to continue to provide support, financial support for you if they've been doing that. If you've been a stay-at-home mom, for example, or your children, because you just, that's the way it's been through your whole relationship or your whole marriage. No, you would want to have a third party or someone else who's been in that position or who can relate, who can maintain some clarity to sort of support you in, in helping you think more clear, more realistically, more from a practical standpoint. So the list goes on. The point is, it's extremely important that you understand that strategy is a huge part of your case, but the support that you have is being strategic. You have to understand that, you have to accept that, and the sooner you do, the better. So I just wanted to give you some information about supports that I've been working with, or I've been affiliated with, or in some shape, form, or fashion. There are some groups on meetup.com that I've been involved with, where some of them meet in person, which is really helpful for people who need that extra layer of support, and they meet just to have dinner and to just have, have some sort of camaraderie, because divorce can be extremely isolating. It can be very isolating. If you have friends and family, they don't want to hear about your divorce. They don't want to hear about your custody battle. So it helps sometimes to meet in person with a group of people who are going through the same thing, and you can just use those opportunities to vent or to just let loose and cry, and if that's what you want to do. And so I do that. I'm in a few meetup groups, divorce groups, where they meet either virtually or they meet in person, and it's really helpful. I don't need it for me. I'm not going through divorce, but I do it to, number one, to stay abreast of the issues that concern my clientele, my audience, like you. And then I also do it to reassure them, to be a sort of pillar of hope, maybe, because sometimes I answer questions. It depends on the dynamics. And then sometimes I'm just there. Sometimes it's just, more comforting to see more people there. So sometimes I just show up just to, to add that extra layer of comfort. And then there's a few online groups. I think there's Divorce Care. I think there's Second Saturday. There's a few online communities that are not associated with social media, but they're separate, standalone. And there's some locally, I'm sure. There's a few that are local to you. Some YMCAs have groups like that. Some organizations, some domestic violence organizations or women's organizations, even some dads groups, some dads organizations have groups just for that purpose. So definitely, look for those as well. And then you have online groups. As I mentioned, Reddit groups. They have subgroups, subreddit groups that are really, some of them are really centered around specific issues in your custody of divorce. So there are subreddit groups for narcissistic abuse recovery, long distance parenting, co-parenting, things like that. And it helps sometimes to hear other people, or to read other people's stories and what they had to endure. And it helps you to, to sort of feel like, again, You're not alone. And then there's Facebook groups, of course, which I'm a huge fan of. I think Facebook groups can be incredibly helpful and supportive. And some of them actually do branch off and form groups or chats from the Facebook groups, and some of them do meet in person. I've seen quite a few people do that or suggest that that be done. And then there's I'm not too sure about how well the LinkedIn groups are. There are LinkedIn groups. There are groups on LinkedIn. I don't know how active they are, though. I'm in a few of them and I don't really see a lot of activity, but I know that they exist. And then your church might have some groups. Some of them meet in person, some of them meet virtually, some of them do both. So I'm a huge fan of groups. If you're going through divorce and or custody, I'm a huge fan of groups. It doesn't matter which stage you're in. It doesn't matter if your case is over with. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Having that support is, I cannot stress how invaluable it is at any stage. And again, just having the comfort of knowing that you're around, or you have some sort of association with someone who's been through what you're going through, can help you in so many respects, so many layers. And then, sometimes you find people who are willing to give you some sort of, they give you other resources, they give you other information that helps you find what you need. If you need financial support, if you need temporary financial support, if you need long-term financial support, if you need housing, if you need a job, if you need, substance abuse support, if you need domestic violence abuse support, those sometimes, if you're not successful, which I think that's impossible, finding those things on your own, or finding one that's suitable for you, because that's the key too. It needs to be suitable for you. Just having somewhere to go is not, always the best idea. Having somewhere to go and to cry and to vent and to scream and to whatever, it's important that you actually weed out that, because sometimes they can be more toxic than they can be helpful. And then that's counterintuitive. That defeats the overall purpose of you going to these, or participating in these groups or these circles to have support. So I am not a huge fan of getting legal advice from these groups, though. I mean, it's one thing to listen to people and to sort of make sense of things from a perspective where, you're not aware, or to help you plot, or to help you plan, or to help you prepare for the possibilities, because the possibilities in family court are endless. But I'm not a fan of people taking legal advice from these groups unless it's, they're actually certified to do that, which is lawyers. I'm not a fan of that. I think people should listen, ask questions, just to get an idea of the possibilities, because being forewarned or being informed before it actually comes up, if it does come up for you, it puts you in a position of so much more control. You have more leverage when that happens, as opposed to being blindsided in your case and not knowing and not having a clue. And now you're scrambling, or you're shuffling, or you're scuffling to make sense of everything. So be careful about that. But of course, ask your questions. Be a sounding board for each other. Have an accountability partner. If you have an attorney, it helps you keep those attorney's bills, those attorney's fees down. If you have a therapist, sometimes it helps you become more centered in your sessions with your therapist, so that you know what to ask for, what to talk about. So all the benefits are innumerable. There are so many benefits to actually having that. Again, I can't stress enough that it's important, how important it is for you to do that the moment you think you're going to court, whether it be you starting the process, or the other party starting the process. The moment you know or think you're going to court, even if you think you're going to settle, even if you came up with an agreement, having that support, having that neutral third party is is going to be helpful no matter what stage you're in, no matter which track your case is on or is probably going to take. So again, do that now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Do that now. I gave you some tips, some methods, or some helpful tools you can use to actually get started. And so with that, I think you should. No need to wait another minute. Yeah. So if you need to reach out to me about some of the resources I discussed, feel free to email me at divorcecoachesq@gmail.com, divorcecoachesq@gmail.com, and I will help you out as much as I can. So that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Bye. I want to thank you for joining us here at Self-Representing in Family Court, where we discuss all things strategy in family court. Join us next time. Until then, visit us at www.thedivorcesolutionist.com.